So hey y'all, today's video is a curly gray hair Q&A. Welcome to my bathroom. My name is Renee and today's video is a curly gray hair Q&A. Yep, you all asked me so many questions about my gray hair and my curly hair, so I've compiled a big long list of them and I'm just gonna run through it today. I'm gonna answer all of your questions about my gray hair, about going gray, some curly hair questions as well, really like curly/gray hair questions, and we're just gonna talk it out. So here we go, curly gray hair Q&A. I have gray hair, obviously, and naturally curly hair. I have been completely gray, finished my transition almost a year ago, and I feel like I'm the perfect person to answer all of your gray hair questions. And if you have curly hair, I know you have questions specific to your curls and gray hair, and I'm your gal. I gotcha. So let's get going. In no specific order, question number 1. How long did it take me to grow out my gray hair? It took me 2 full years. 2 full years, and it was a long 2 years. And one of the reasons is because I have curly hair, my hair is actually really long, but boop, of course, when it curls up, it looks short. But that is one of the reasons it took a good while, and I didn't do a big chop. I just let it grow. And now it's been a year since I'm fully gray. How old was I when I started coloring my hair? I was around 25. I had my first child when I was 27. Her name's Kendall. She's now 23 years old. But I remember I wasn't pregnant, and I would just see random gray hairs in my head. And so I would get my little bitty scissors and I would cut out the gray hair. When it got to the point that there was just too many gray hairs, I couldn't cut them all out. So my hairdresser started doing a demi-permanent hair color. You'd put it in, it lasts a couple weeks, and it would just kind of fade away and wash out, because I didn't want to color my natural hair color, which was, very dark naturally. I just wanted to cover the little bit of gray hair that was coming in. Well, once I had my daughter, I was 27, the grays took off, and then I had to start using a semi-permanent hair color. Stayed in a little bit longer. It did color my natural hair color a smidge, but it really covered up the grays. And I did a semi-permanent hair color for a long time, a lot of years. I was probably in my late 30s after I'd had 2 daughters when I had to go to a permanent hair color. And I would get it colored every 5 or 6 weeks. It really wasn't a big deal. The growth would show a little bit of gray, but it required that permanent hair color to actually cover up all the gray that I had. And then over the years, I'm 50 now. I turned 50 this summer. The length of time between my coloring went from 5 weeks to 4 weeks to 3 weeks. The last probably 3 or 4 years that I colored my hair, I was doing it every 3 weeks. And it just seemed like, literally, the minute I left the hair salon, I would get in my car and look in the mirror and boop, I would have gray hair sticking out. It just was happening faster than I could keep up with it, happening faster than I wanted to keep up with it. And I made the decision to stop the color and go gray. Ooh, this is one I get asked a lot. What did my husband and my kids say when I told them that I was going to go gray? Well, my oldest daughter was away at college, called her on the phone, told her I'd made the decision, and she just instantly was like, "You go, Mom, you can do it. I think that's awesome." So my youngest daughter was 16. She was like, "Okay, all right, I think I can get behind that, Mom. I think it'll be okay." As for my husband, I told him, and I've told you all this before, he just kind of looked at me for a couple minutes, and I could tell he was pondering what his reaction should be. He said, "Okay, do it. I think you can rock some gray hair. Do it." And so that was that. Not that I needed their blessing, but I wanted them to know up front what my decision was. I wanted to kind of know their reaction because they're my family, they're my close circle, and they're really the only ones that I care about anyway. I don't care what a stranger or friends think or, acquaintances. I just wanted to know what the three of them thought, and they all gave me the thumbs up. But honestly, I was going to do it regardless. I was going to do it no matter what they said, but it helped that they backed me and supported me, and they were supportive. Another question I get asked a lot is, now that I'm fully gray, is that it? Is that all that happens? Like, once the gray grows out, is this what you have forever? And my answer is no, not for me anyway. A year ago, when I was fully transitioned, I did not have as much white as I have right here. And let me spin around and show you the back of my hair. I'm kind of dark on this side, white up here, and I have a lot of white right in here. So when I first started my transition, I could tell right away this was going to be some white hair. And as it continued to grow out, it was true. This was a really white section, and this area over here took forever because I'm still so significantly dark in this certain area that it took basically the 2 full years for this area over here to even look gray. But since the past year, when my transition was complete and my hair has continued to grow, the light sections have gotten longer and more dominant. So yes, my gray hair has continued to change and evolve, and I think it's just going to continue. You can tell even now, it is dark in here, but that's my natural hair color. It's lighter up in here and in the back. I get asked a lot about makeup. Did I have to change my makeup once I went gray? And for me, the answer is yes. This used to be my favorite go-to makeup palette. It was full of grays and bronzes. I loved wearing the colors kind of in this section. And once I had a lot of gray hair around my face, I decided one day to put on some gray eyeshadow, and it was not good. Gray eyeshadow and gray hair, at least on me, don't work well together. It just washed me out. I looked kind of sunk in. And originally I thought, okay, gray eyeshadow, gray hair, it'll kind of coordinate. No, negative. For me, that was a big negative. It did not work. So I have converted to these colors. Now I wear a lot of pinks and kind of this bronzy. It is bronzy, but there's some pink in it. I pretty much wear all the colors in this palette up to here. So I am definitely a pink eyeshadow person. Even in the winter time, I find that the pink just brightens up my skin tone, brightens up my face. I tend to wear a pinkish, reddishy lipstick. I always have some color on my cheeks, and it just makes me look more alive and more healthy. And so all around, that's my colors. And that kind of leads me right into my next question, which is my clothes. Did I have to change the color of my clothes once I went gray? And yes and no. So you can tell I'm wearing a bright white top, and that is definitely what I prefer when I have gray hair. I cannot wear like a cream or an off-white. It makes my gray look dingy. Here's what I mean. I don't have a blouse to show you of that color because I don't buy it anymore. But you can see this hand towel when you put it up against me like this. If this were a blouse, see how I look dull. So I stay away from off-whites, cream. I will wear brown. It needs to be a darker brown, a vibrant brown, just nothing kind of pale like this. But otherwise, I pretty much wear any color I want to. I love purples, magentas, blues, red, primary colors look great on me with gray hair, but I will wear yellow and like a soft pink in the summertime. So really it hasn't changed my color choices other than the whites versus the creams and the off-whites. And I do still wear gray clothes all the time. I love gray, especially in the wintertime. What was the hardest part about going gray? I get asked that a lot. The hardest part for me was the first 6 months, honestly. And it is because that is when your roots start to show and you're at the point like, oh my gosh, this is when I would go get my hair colored. So you've got your roots showing, then they get longer and longer, and it's long enough that people look at you and they can't quite figure out what you're doing. Like, did you just miss a hair appointment? They're afraid to say something. You get all kind of looks. And then you get, for me, I had this huge skunk line right here. I had white hair right here, and the rest was black. A lovely black colored head with a big white line. It was not attractive. It took about 6 months for me to get enough gray and white hair around my face that I felt like people who looked at me understood what was going on. They knew I was growing out my hair. It stopped a lot of the looks and the questions, and I was able to get out of that odd stage and kind of embrace what was happening at that point. But once I got a year in and my gray was half and half, it was black here and gray on top, it just became a part of me. I honestly didn't even think about it anymore, and it just was what it was. So the hardest part for me was the first 6 months. Did my gray hair change my curls? And yes, it did. It changed my curls during the growing out process. My gray hair, when it was growing out, was a little bit straighter, a little bit coarser, and so it changed my curl pattern a little bit. And you can tell right here even, I am not nearly as curly right here as I am some other areas of my head, but I think that is just my curl pattern. I don't know that that's like a universal answer, but in the beginning, when I was growing out the gray, until it got about right here, when I had enough gray length on my hair for my curls to be normal, it did change my curl pattern just a smidge, but not enough for it to be a big deal, honestly. Did I have to change my hair products once I went gray? And the answer is yes, because I had gray hair, and no, because I had curly hair. So let me tell you what I mean. Once I went gray and I had a lot of gray, I noticed that around my face, the gray would yellow or get dingy. And so I talked to my hairdresser and she said that I needed purple shampoo. This stuff will change your life. It brightens my gray hair, it whitens the white, it gets rid of the dingy, and gray hair can get dingy looking because of hair products, being out in the sun, just the basic elements. If you work out a lot and your hair gets sweaty, it's just stuff can just dull the gray hair and the white hair, just like stuff can dull a white shirt and you need to put bleach on it every now and then. So this is my favorite purple shampoo. I only use this about every 3 times that I wash my hair. I don't use it every time. That is too much. And I've done a whole video about purple shampoo, why you need purple shampoo, how it works, like the whole deal. I'll put that video in the description box below. So if you're somebody who has dingy gray hair and you need purple shampoo, definitely watch that video. And do I continue to use my normal products for my curls? Yes, I have not changed my normal hair product routine at all. I simply added purple shampoo to my normal routine. And my normal routine is, and again, I have a whole video about my hair products, but it's Bounce Curl Light Cream Gel, Paul Mitchell Super Skinny Serum, Catwalk Curls Rock Amplifier, my favorite diffuser. This is specifically made for curly hair. I could not live without this bedhead diffuser. And I have a little hair wrap that I use as soon as I get out of the shower. I am in love with this thing. I recently bought this little purple color. If you want to know about my hair products, they will be linked in the description box below. But to go back to my original question, my gray hair did not make me change the hair products that I used for my curly hair. I'm often asked if my parents or my sister have gray hair. My mom and dad are both 75 years old. My father is completely gray-headed, and it's white. He has white hair. And the interesting thing is, He was completely white-headed by the time he was 40, and he gets it from my grandfather. Same thing. My grandfather was completely white-headed by the time he was 40. So I knew it was going to happen to me. I could look at them and see it coming, and so that was another reason that I decided to stop fighting it, because it was going to come on. It was going to come on. It was going to get me. So I just decided to embrace it and go with it. Now, my mother, this is a funny story. My mother has always dyed her hair a very dark brown. She has always said she will go to her grave with dyed hair. But my mother last year was diagnosed with cancer and had to go through chemo. She lost all of her hair. She's fine. She's great now. And her hair is growing back. What color do you think her hair is? It is completely gray. It is completely gray. It is now long enough that she has a little cowlick right here. See, like I do? This apparently I get from my mother. She has a little cowlick. It sticks up. Her hair's like this long, and it is adorable. She is cute as a button with her little gray head. She'll put on her little makeup and her earrings, and she has the little gray hair, and we keep trying to tell her that she should just... Of course, she got a wig when she was going through chemo. It just made her feel more comfortable, that she should just ditch the wig and go out with the hair because she is so cute like that. And my sister, which is 5 years younger than me, she's 45. She does have gray hair. We don't know how much gray hair because she still colors her hair, but she colors it about, I think, every 5 weeks. Her gray and white is not coming in as fast as mine did, but the girl's got some gray hair in there. Why did I make the decision to go gray? Oh my gosh, I'm asked this so often. And really, the main reason was I hated the actual process of dyeing my hair. I hated the chemicals on my head. The hair dye or something about the process made my scalp itch so bad. And it would itch for about 2 days after I got my hair dyed. I was miserable. I was constantly scratching my head. I couldn't, it was to the point that I just couldn't take it. So that was really the number one reason that I stopped dyeing my hair. It was just the process made me miserable. And then, like I said, my dad, my grandfather, they were gray. I could see it coming. I was fighting an uphill battle. I'd color it. I'd come home. I had gray hair. Like I wasn't going to win this. And so I decided, while I'm young, now's the time to do it. I felt like because of my age, I could go through it and kind of embrace it. Well, and then here's the big question. Do I look older with gray hair? My answer is no. I do not at all feel like I look older with gray hair. I, to myself, feel like I look much better with gray hair. My hair matches my skin. It matches my age. I've embraced it. I go with it. I flaunt it. I'm proud of it. And I think people can see that in me. And so I do not at all think it makes me look old. Now, other people have their opinions. You can browse the comments on any of my videos. And there is always a handful of people that say, you need to dye your hair. You would look 20 years younger if you dyed your hair. I hate your hair. Why do you have gray hair? Hey, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. The only opinion that matters is my own, and I think it makes me look so much better. I am more comfortable in my own skin with gray hair. When I was coloring my hair, like I've said before many times, I felt fake. I couldn't put my finger on what was wrong, but now I know it was because my hair color didn't match my skin tone. It didn't match my aging body. And it made me feel fake. I never felt right. And now that I'm free and I'm natural and I can be myself, I feel so much better all around. It was one of the best decisions I have ever made in my life for myself, and I'm so glad that I did it. And then that answers the final question of the day. Do I regret it? No, not for a second. I don't regret it for a second. I just don't even have enough words to explain how much I love my gray hair. And it was a process that I'm proud of myself for going through. I'm proud of myself for sticking it out. And I'm proud of myself for being here. I'm proud of myself for embracing my gray hair and embracing who I am and just rocking it, y'all. I really feel like I own my gray hair. I just own the decisions that I've made, and it makes me a much happier person. It really does. So that's it, y'all. A curly gray hair Q&A. I hope I answered all of your questions. If I didn't, leave me a comment below, and I'll let you know what I think. All right, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope I answered your questions, and I'm going to head out and get my day started. So I'll see you later.